Hey everybody. Wow, wow. The equinox was intense. Did anyone else experience the intensity that I've experienced? Really, now that I look back, all these tales and stories and poems about the dance between dark and light, the 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 sacred dance between dark and light. Boy, oh boy, doesn't sound actually so sacred and nice and fluffy when you are going through it. But wow, it was a very intense week for me, at least last week, and some of my colleagues and friends have experienced the same thing. So I'm curious what the equinox uh, brought for you, any teachings. It was particularly a few days before the equinox that there was some pretty intense things happening. And like I've been feeling what I felt, and I actually still feel it. And it could be also all these planets in retrograde and Mercury in retrograde. I'm not a expert in those areas by any means. Um, but there, I feel like there's been a pull, quite a heavy pull down into what I call dead matter, dark matter, um, where it's like that the force is it like it causes you to start to doubt yourself, question, uh, like, am I doing the right thing? Am I tapping to the right source? Um, you can start to feel fuzzy and blurry. Um, Energy drains, right? Energy drains. Strange things happening, like distracting you. Like, why is this person messaging me and asking me this question? Or um, unnecessary drama coming from, I don't know, I'm just making it up, like family or friends. There have been some themes this past week, and for me, what the teaching was and still is, I'm still coming out of it, is discernment, and to delineate very deliberate, conscious borders, and not letting any energies to come in that will compromise your mission. So it's really important in these times, women, men, whoever's joining here. Hi to those who have joined, and please chime in, write any messages if there's any, if this resonates with you, if you have any questions, any aha moments. Um, yeah, so this force, I lost my train of thought. See, it's occurring a lot actually. This losing my train of thought. It's like it pulls you down. Uh, so to delineate conscious borders and not to allow distractions, unnecessary distractions. And these can come through friends, family, people who are, love you, who, whatever that may be. Certain events can happen. I've had several events happen last week that really derailed me. That was the feeling of derailment. Derailment. So you what happens when the train gets derailed? You are off track, right? And my intention, and I am, I do my best to meditate every single morning to ensure that I am keeping on track with the mission that I have been gifted. and that I have a responsibility to deliver, to maintain, to hold space for, to set in motion. So this dead matter, like, what does this all have to do with, the work that I do with architecture, this new system, the sacred blueprint system that I have developed? What does this have to do? It's like, she's an architect. Like, why is she talking about dead matter? Well, I'm an architect who is bridging the world of spirit with design. And when you bridge the world of spirit, if you have done and are doing, maybe esoteric studies, meditation, yoga, maybe you're working, in with feng shui, geomancy, tuning into the energies of people's properties. Maybe you're doing all this stuff on the side and you're an architect or a designer who's working for someone else, or running a company that where you don't weave in the spiritual work, but you do it on the side. So why am I talking about dead matter right now, and what does it have to do with the mission that I'm holding space for right now? So last week I had a series of events that derailed me, and one of them was a witnessing of a property that is very near and dear to my heart, a destruction of a fairy dwelling there. So fairies are of the element air, and they are like their other brothers and sisters, the gnomes and the salamanders, which are fire, the gnomes of earth. There are different names in different cultures, and the nymphs, they're the water elements, water beings. They all work in harmony with each other. They all collaborate to maintain balance and harmony and flow, to maintain the chi on the property, and they're involved in also building. They are the builders. I love them so much. They're the builders. I'm a builder at heart. That is my true essence, to be building and making and receiving instructions from the higher templates of the cosmos, and building, making things with my hands. Well, the fairies and their brothers and sisters are also making and building. They're making and building nature. They are involved in crafting the flower when it is ready to bloom. They are involved in the planting of the seed. They're involved in the crafting and making of what we call our 3D world. Now, there may be other aspects that I've missed right now, so feel free to add into what I'm saying. And they really do take on a very important role of maintaining the flow, the melody, the tone, the unique qualities, as well as the abundance on the property. And it's interesting, I'm now thinking about tuning into our own bodies, and there are also forces, etheric forces, life forces, the chi body, doing body separate. So the chi forces, the etheric forces that bring life, that bring spirit to our body. So bring life, bring spirit to the land. It's the same thing. So what about this dead matter? So there's a force right now, a deliberate force right now that is trying to kill our spirit, is trying to make us into dead matter. And when I say make us into, it's also make the land into dead matter. I want you to be very careful and discerning about these forces, and they can exist in spiritual circles, and they can exist in, what we would call materialistic circles. So the dead matter, what does it do? So dead matter, it's matter that, let me just, it is devoid of life. It's devoid of life. It's an empty carcass. It's an empty carcass. And when I say empty carcass, it is also very susceptible to manipulation. It's susceptible to being swayed. It is susceptible to being infiltrated with something else other than spirit. And it can also play tricks on you. So, okay, I'm speaking quite, up in the air right now. It's maybe getting a bit esoteric, but what are some examples of this? Right now, we are being onslaughted with the digital realm. I use the digital realm to spread my mission and to spread the light and to let the world know about all my offers, and technology is fantastic in that sense. But right now, we've got to be very aware of what's going on also with technology, that it has the potential to turn us into spiritless, lifeless beings. And we see this now that the digital world is infiltrating our children. And so you see, look, my son watches movies every once in a while. There's some homework from his new school where it's digital. So please do not misunderstand me. I'm not in an extreme, I'm not saying anything extreme here. I'm always of the middle, right? But I see right now around me, people who are using the iPads and the phones, giving it to their children quite easily, especially at the dinner tables at restaurants, or for anything. It's an excuse for anything. Oh, the child is crying. Let's give the phone. Let's give the laptop. Let's give the iPad. Right now, they are literally walking around on the street, even walking on the street, these little children with the phones. So this is what this force, Rudolf Steiner talks about this force as Ahriman. So Ahriman is a force that really pulls us down into the deadest of lifeless matter. And this force is being used by the powers that be right now. It's being used, Ahriman just said, no, I'm using them. So he made a clarification there. I'm using them to get what I want. Ahriman is our teacher. I'm not converting this energy into a devil or anything like that. You could call it a devil-like energy. Okay, so what does this all have to do with the architecture and with building the new architecture and being aware of what architecture you are subscribing to? That word just came to me. Agreeing to? Who are you working for? What kind of projects are you working on? Are these kinds of projects encouraging the dead matter to further anchor itself on this planet so that it eradicates the spirit, the life in the land. I'm curious what's coming up for you as I speak. I'm partly doing a transmission, so I'm still trying to understand what's coming through right now. So dead matter. We see this with our children. Children are a perfect example of, observing what's going on in the realm of children is a perfect example of observing the initial seeds of something, and I don't even want to use the word seed for it, but the initial signs of what's to come. Now, I don't want to be a doom and gloom. I'm not, I will not let these forces kill the spirit on this planet and within our bodies. But we've got to be discerning and be very aware and careful of what's going on. So, in architecture, we see this in forms. And we see this in materials. We see this in a certain way of designing where we ignore, and it's been going on for I guess a century now, really, where you are completely killing off any voice of nature, voice of spirit in the whole design process, right? It's very intellectual. It's very mind oriented. And the word mind is so much bigger than, I don't want to reduce the word mind to just being, like just the intellect or the dead matter or anything like that. And we see this in the lack of sensitivity in a lot of architecture offices for, in terms of having a humane way of working. I mean, there's a really grind, overworking, and people are so drained from all the emails, digital, right? Like, it's just like an onslaught, right? Drained from all the apps. And what happens then, and being completely stuck in front of the computer the whole fucking day, okay? And look, there are some architecture offices that are much more healthy, much more sensitive, so really respect to them, respect to all of you. But in general, I'm getting messages from women who are completely depleted, and there are some some don't even get to tuck their kids in bed at night because they're overworking. Some who are able to work from home, that's great, but a lot of offices have now opened up their spaces again, right? And some of them are actually the sole supporters of their family. So we see the dead matter in all realms, aspects of the design practice. We see it in all aspects of life. Please be aware of what's going on. Be aware of what's going on. We are increasingly getting, addicted to the phones, to a point where it's like sooner or later they're going to merge with us, right? They're going to merge with us. And, with a blink of an eye, we'll be able to buy something off of Amazon. Like, right? Like, it's that quick. And I just got, I just got one of Steiner's books that I actually had in Canada in hard copy. I got it off Kindle because I needed to refer to something. And I clicked on buy now. I'm like, oh my God, that was so fucking fast. It's just really creepy, actually, how fast it all is becoming. This to the, just being connected via Google, right? your Google account, and we are being completely merged with the digital realm. If we let it, if we allow it to. This is where the discernment comes in. This is where you need to delineate your borders and say, I'm an organic human being. I'm organic. I have the life force moving through me. I have the creative life force moving through me. I am alive. I am of spirit. And you cannot turn me into a robot. Robots and AI are dead matter. Look, I'm not against the automations that I use. They're robots in some ways, right? Automations. You know, there are robots can build, prosthetics for people. These, again, I'm in the middle. We, though, need to be the users of tools. We cannot become the tools. Okay? So, as architects, as women architects, I want you to become more and more awake of what's going on. Firms, offices, buildings, the way we build on the land, there is right now a systematic, deliberate force that is killing the spirit in the land, therefore killing the spirit in our bodies, therefore converting it into dead matter. So what are we going to do about it? We need to be tapping into our own resources. What are our own resources? Our own creative resources, our own intuition, our own connection to source, to God, to the great mystery, to the universe, to the cosmos, to Gaia, to the nature spirits, to the animal spirits, to the mineral kingdom, to the plant kingdom, to the human kingdom. Steiner talks about the four. We exist as well. In fact, we were one of the first to build this universe before we came into our physical bodies. I don't like this this view of, oh, humans are so bad and, we just gotta let nature be, and that we're separate. This is really an approach that will be a never-ending cycle of the dog trying to catch his tail. It's never ending. It will only cause further division. We, in other dimensions, human beings are involved in crafting nature, are involved in crafting the cosmos. We're not just some kind of byproduct of, evolution. It's like, whoop, some kind of experiment happened with the apes. And, here we are. Oh, interesting. We have a consciousness. It's like, there's a lot more to it. And I'm still learning about what the mystery of all that is. And sometimes it's just better also to keep it as a beautiful mystery and allow it to work through us when we are, in a space of gratitude and joy and wonder of the absolute beauty and magic that this world we live in has. So, what are we going to do about it, women? We need to gather. We need to gather and work together, co-create together, and develop new systems, new modalities for bringing the light back into the land. That's one. Allowing the light in the land to exist, to learn from the light in the land, and facilitate vessels, spaces that support the evolution of consciousness. Vessels and spaces that support, when I say vessels and spaces, I'm talking about buildings, gardens. Let's speak with much more grounded language here. Buildings, gardens, communities, cities, interiors, exteriors, roofs, walls, windows. We're bringing all of the spirit back into the dead, or no, allowing spirit to breathe through the forms of our buildings. And this is not just about blowing the energy through a dead box, although boxes are very useful and beautiful when they're done with consciousness. So I'm in no way saying that everything has to look swirly and organic and, every single space and building arises from the particular site and situation and your client's dreams and purpose and your client's desires as well. Aligned desires. It's up to you to actually guide them along what their true desires are. Sometimes desires can be just what you want out of the magazines, right? So your job as a conscious architect to guide them through this. Now, a lot of what I'm talking about is very new to the architecture. I mean, I'm pioneering something very new and yet is rooted in ancient wisdom. The architects in ancient Egypt, I remember looking at one of the first few pages of the Ontario Association of Architects, ginormous, what was it? Oh no, yeah, it was the CERB. I think Nevina's here. She knows about it. One of my friends and colleagues. The CERB, what is it? Canadian Experience Record Book or something. Anyway, it's where you have to do a lot of logging and reading of the best practices in architecture. And I remember flipping to one of the first pages, and it it had this I think it was a 1-page, basically the history of the architect. It's horrible. It's crap, okay? Just 1 page. And there was the first, I think it was one of the first, or the first, it was back in ancient Egypt. And it was interesting though, because I'm very connected to ancient Egypt, and there was a message that came through from there. Anyway, they were basically the right-hand men of the pharaohs. And they were priests. They had, and I don't think that that's exactly what it said. I don't think that it would be politically correct to write priest in there. But basically, they were at the top of visioning, of visionaries, right? The right-hand man of the pharaoh. And it was a responsibility of the architect to be a carrier of wisdom, be a carrier of the mysteries. They were initiated by priests. Maybe not all of them. I don't know the whole history. There are high points, there are low points. I don't know the whole history of it. But the architects back then in ancient Egypt, they had the energetic tools, the spiritual tools, to be crafting temples. I don't know if they were involved with, the building of the homes of, the regular people on the ground. I think though they were mostly doing that themselves. But this is to talk about a point here. So they had a huge role to play, and spiritual knowledge was a part of that. And if you didn't have that knowledge, and if you didn't go through adequate training, then the temples that they're building are not going to support the evolution of humanity. And that was at the forefront of the minds and souls and hearts of the ancient Egyptians. They knew that they had a responsibility to take care of the afterlife and the afterlife of and the evolution of humanity. It was ingrained in their whole way of being, in their festivals, in their celebrations, in their prayers. So the role of the architect, back to that page, was crucial. And, back then they had hierarchies and only certain priests could get into the temples. It wasn't open for all. This is not a conversation about equality, okay? Like, fuck that shit. Sorry, I'm just really pissed off about a lot of this equality crap and political correctness crap. Because watch it, be very discerning. All that stuff, climate change, right? All that stuff. That's also a deliberate way of Ahriman to spread. I'm seeing peanut butter. Spread peanut butter evenly over the whole global world. What does that mean, spreading peanut butter? Like that we all need to abide by the same rules. We need to all, you have a different opinion about climate change? You don't have the sticker? You don't have the sticker for the Ukraine, yellow and blue? Oh my God, you actually think that maybe Russia has some, some valid points? You get what I mean, people. Really. None of this spreading peanut butter. That means we're spreading the designs across the globe too. Oh, what's the safe architectural design? What's safe? Okay? Fuck that shit. So, back to the page. I think this is what the equinox has brought up in me. A lot of swearing. Really, I've got like sacred rage and I've got my sword and I'm just like, argh! Okay. Back to the page. At one point, we were holding this sacred wisdom and a great responsibility to be connecting with the cosmos, connecting with the earth grids, connecting with energies that were in support of sustaining and evolving the ancient Egyptian culture. And when I talk about ancient Egyptian culture, I'm talking about all these ancient cultures, right? We were the master builders. And then you go down in this Serb book, okay? It's like this binder. Then you go down like through the ages and like the architect basically ends up being like this pencil pusher, okay? Bureaucrat, whatever, who's just like, making sure that they've got the right agreements in place so that they don't get sued, basically. I swear, everything in the Ontario Association of Architects is about suing, like there's rarely any inspiring events, like warning, you might get sued. Okay, what does this mean? I'm just blah, blah, blahing right now. What does this mean? The architect has become a slave to the consulting practice. What is consulting anyway? It's based on the dollars per hours model. Sure, there are fixed fees and everything, but the fixed fee is still really based on the dollar per hour. It really is. And in my opinion, and I don't care about being politically correct, it's slavery. It's slavery. Yes, respect to some of the amazing offices I've worked for that are humane and that, are really amazing collaborators, but it's very few. I'm hearing so many stories from women right now that they're just completely depleted and drained from working in a firm, working in the consulting practice. And even even if you're, if you've started working on your own, but you're still using that same structure, oh my God, it is so hard unless you've woken up and like quadrupled or, you know, what's times 10 times 10 your fees. You're always going to be stuck at a certain level. What is this all about? What does this have to do with spirituality? Well, looking at the page, first of all, architects have been downgraded. Seriously, we're not victims to it. It's our fault. It's our fault too. And we've been deliberately inserted into this consulting system. I was going through it too. I was working in it, and it's based on this dollars per hours model where you can only make a certain amount of money, and then beyond that, it's capped. It takes quite a long time for you to get up into maybe, an associate level or whatever. And again, these structures are important too. These firms are building big buildings, and there's a whole system involved. I certainly cannot do that on my own. So respect to the team building, to the sophisticated project management, please. But I'm just trying to make a point here in light of what I was talking about, the dead matter, okay? We have been downgraded into a position of powerlessness. And our voice, our intuition, our connection to source and spirit and energy have been deliberately cut off, have been deliberately trampled on, have been deliberately shut down. And it's been happening for years and years and years, especially to spiritual women. And what goes on too is, this is where the discernment comes in too. This is very tricky stuff. Then what happens is too, what happened at a certain time is, and it still happens, is, oh, well, I'm spiritual. I shouldn't make any money. Because making money means then I'm not spiritual anymore. That's fucking bullshit. That's bullshit, because that is a way of the powers that be to control people who have magic. Now, striving for being greedy and incurring, like endless amounts of money and like only focusing on money as a goal in your life, then okay, you start to get off track with your spiritual practice, right? Yeah. There's a reason why certain spiritual practices invite you to relinquish your attachments to materialism. So this is the distinction, people. Materialism, if you are a materialistic person, and if you are attached to the dead matter, then you go off kilter. Then, you could be considered, to be, going off track and not on the road to being spiritual. Okay. This is a very esoteric topic. I'm really, doing a surfaced pass of this, but this is related to your abundance, women. Only now am I realizing that the sacred blueprint system that I've developed is not only to help you to develop, it's not only to offer you a system that helps you with easeful, joyful project planning, and this is all really great. where you are not overworking yourself, you're not stressed, and you get to be in your body, you get to be out in nature, you get to be in joy and all this. But there's a deeper level, women, that only now am I really, 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 really realizing. It's about getting you guys out of the fucking matrix. And for you to all see the power that lies within you when you tap into your intuition. You have the power to create worlds. And while you tap into your intuition, while you tap into spirituality, you can be rich at the same time. I'm not talking about a rich where you are selfish, where you don't share, where you don't contribute to your cause. I'm building this business. I'm at a multiple six figure, and I am almost multiple six figure. Almost. I am sharing my money with my cause. But still, you know what? Still, oh, she's not sharing her money with her cause. Watch it. Watch the judgment. What if you keep all the money to yourself? What if you pamper yourself? What if you take yourself to a luxury hotel? What if you finally give yourself the riches that you deserve? I can't tell you how many women architects are poor. This is wrong. It's wrong. Everyone's shocked when I say architects don't make that much money. Like, what? Architects don't make much money? Yeah, I know. Well, back then when we were the assistants to the pharaoh, like, we were great. Okay, I mean, we maybe in our man forms, right? I don't remember any women architects, right, back then being assistants to the pharaoh. But like, it's like, and that's not important, man, woman, whatever. Women, it's so, this system is so, that I've developed, and I know that is developing through all of you who hear the call. I've been mentoring women who are now birthing their own systems that are really in tune with their authentic self. I do not want to impose anything on anybody. I'm an empowerer. I love supporting and empowering you women. And the system that I've developed is actually a vessel that helps you to see what's possible. So you awaken to the magic that lies within you, and the capacity for you to be able to connect with nature on a deep level, and to birth projects really with ease and joy, and none of the stress anymore. None of the stress. And to be able to charge triple, quadruple for that system, for that way, because it's unique and you have a gift. Not every architect can do what you have the potential to do. You may not even realize that you have these gifts right now. Some of you do. Some of you are hiding them. Some of you are repressing them. And it all doesn't have to look a certain way, like, oh, angels. You know, like, it doesn't have to look a certain way, being spiritual. Right? Like, we have also a lot of these thought forms. What do I mean by thought forms? They are accumulated information, thoughts, energies attributed to certain trends, or let me give you an example, like 5D, the 5D world. I'm noticing this a lot in my in this theme of being more discerning. We see a lot of this awakening stuff coming up, right? Awakening. Oh, you're so 3D. You're so 3D. It's time to get into the 5D. What the fuck is 5D? Really, really, what is it? And I'm not going to claim to know what it all is. There's all these drawings and pictures and like these etheric, images of temples, which I love, by the way. I have a side of me that's like, oh, just take me to these beautiful, magical temples. But the danger of that too is that we get caught, drawn in by Lucifer, which is, now Lucifer has different names and like different meanings in different cultures. But that's the opposite of Ahriman, where we get drawn into the, like, what we would call airy fairy. And it's like, oh, the 5D is going to save us. Be careful, people. Be careful. It's our job to be the bridge between the two worlds, the middle. So I'm seeing a lot of like 5D is abundance, 3D isn't. Right? Like, 5D unity consciousness, 3D duality. I don't mean to mock, but it's like I'm realizing how actually overly simplified that is. Okay? And the danger of that is either you get whisked away into the 5D and you look down on everyone else in the physical world, including your own family and your children, or, the people who work with you. People, you have a responsibility to be grounded on this earth. Okay? And to have healthy relationships, and to allow life, the great theater of this beautiful three-dimensional world, to be your mirror, to be the mirror for your own soul's unfolding. Be careful about these categories that people, these words that people attribute 5D, 3D to. Oh, 5D is this, 3D is this, 5D. So that's what I mean by thought forms that get accumulated. So right now you can see there's this whole wave of spiritual awakening, which is, what we needed. Oh my God, I'm sweating. I sweat a lot. Thought forms. Watch out for them. We have a tendency to repeat what somebody else said or what somebody in social media is saying about 5D or about 7D. Well, actually 7D is not such a trend right now. It's 5D, right? Yes, of course we are stepping into a new paradigm. Yes, we are moving into unity consciousness, but we are not relinquishing or letting go or bypassing 3D. That's what Luciferic energy is. It's about spiritual bypassing. My mentor, Connor Sauer, who is an elder, she is a human design expert, reminded me of that. We don't want to bypass people. We're here. We're here. We could say it's Maya. We can say it's illusion, but we're here to learn something about ourselves. So these thought forms, be careful. Then what happens is Ahriman, the dark force who deliberately wants to turn everything into dark matter, also makes use of that somehow too. And that's just streaming through right now. I'm not really understanding what that means, but I'm just seeing like stickers. Let's say stickers with the Ukraine. Do you notice that all that social media stuff has been prepared? And please, I'm sending so many prayers to Ukraine, prayers to Russia. Don't get me wrong. Really, this is not a joke. This is not a joke. But I'm giving you an example of, it's kind of like, it's not broken telephone, but it's like a way of manipulating people's minds. Ideas can get locked in. That's what it is. Locked in and become static and dead. So notice how all the information coming in, not all, my apologies. Some of the information coming in right now on social media about 5D and about the ascension and about spiritual wisdom and about this and that can get locked in to a certain way of how it's supposed to be. Then that starts to become dangerous. Do you get what I mean? Is this resonating with you all? Is this resonating? Steiner has a great exercise. He's been really in my field these days. I haven't been studying Steiner's meditations for a long time, but I did do quite a lot of I did do the 6 supplementary exercises and for quite a while. And I'm actually thinking maybe I'll get back to doing it again. I lost my train of thought again. I don't remember what I was going to say. He had an exercise. Oh yeah. One of the 6 supplementary exercises is to always wake up in the morning like that anything is possible. Every day is a new day. And this is related to not having judgment. So for example, maybe a political leader that you yesterday were like, oh my God, he's horrible. Like, oh, he's part of that group. Like, dualism, right? Separation. Oh, he's part of that. Oh, he did that to people. Oh my God, that's horrible, right? But that the next morning you wake up and I might not, there's more to the exercise. And you actually say, every day is a new day. This man may bring in something that is actually a benefit to humanity. I might learn something from this man or this person. And to step into always, what does this do? It breaks that static thought form. Because we have this capacity, this potential to be locked in, completely armored by all these static thought forms, including spiritual information. So be careful. I'm noticing some people who are really making judgments about the 3D. It's like, come on. Give me a break, people. We got it. If you want, it's like unity consciousness is 5D. 3D is not. Come on. If we're really stepping into the new paradigm, we look at the whole all together and we take it in. It all comes into being integrated. And that every day is a new day. Whoa, what am I getting into now? Women, I got on this Instagram live to talk about my Architects Masterclass, and so much other stuff has come through. And right now I'm like, is this connected? It is connected, women. It is. I have designed a system that's going to help you get out of this matrix. It's going to help you get out of the slavery of consulting. It's going to help you get out of the static thought forms that are imprisoning us and turning us into dead matter, and that are inhibiting us from honing our instrument, our own instrument, into an instrument that allows life to play its music through us. This is also a quote from Connor Sauer, who is my human design coach, as part of a coaching team led by Kendra Thornbury. I love the way she says that. To hone your instrument and allow life to play its music through you. This is what it's about. And so that's like the deep layer of it. What's going on, what I'm opening up for all of you as an opportunity, all you women architects and designers who are fed up, who are ready to cross the threshold into a new way of working. This is not a prescribed way of working. This is oh my God, this is what's possible kind of way of working. And I'm going to guide you through all of my experience in working, tapping in with the spirit of the land tapping into your intuition, your feminine wisdom, your capacity to create more and more and more beauty beyond what you've imagined. And this structure then also enables you to take it, okay, step by step. I can do this. There's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end. It's palatable. It's doable. It's not overwhelming. And then you can bring this into your own way of designing, into your own way of practicing. Now, what else? Who else does it benefit? It benefits your clients. And it also benefits you starting to weed out who you want to work with and who you don't want to work with anymore. There are so many people miserable with their clients. I don't want to work with this person anymore. I don't want to work with this person anymore. This person's not aligned with what I truly want to create. And then we start feeling guilty. Oh, but as architects, we need to be the martyr. We need to be the martyr and help everyone. That's another energy drain, people. That's another energy drain, especially if you are a woman who has spiritual gifts, who has the intuition. You know it deep down. When I'm speaking to you right now, you know who you are. Even if you doubt it, doubting is natural. I even doubt myself. That's a natural thing for the doubt to come. But you know who you are. If you have these gifts, you have a responsibility to share these gifts with the planet and to work with only those who are aligned with you, only those who appreciate the work, and only those who are willing to do the work, because the system that I have developed involves the client. That the client needs to be a full participator, and we'll get into that in the Architects Masterclass. It is on October 10th and 11th. The tickets are really cheap. It's a great opportunity for you to get to know me, get to know other women, other kindred souls, and to explore and to discover what's possible when we bring back spirit into architecture, bring back tapping into nature's energy into architecture. And you don't have to be an architect. You can be a landscape architect, interior designer, anyone who's involved in the field of design. Maybe you're a developer too. That could be possible. We're opening the doors, but it is, it's for women who are, maybe you're working on your own project, your own sanctuary project. You have an opportunity with a client and you want to practice with your own project. You also don't need to have your own project. We can do some practice with, another land, your own property, or a land that you choose to go out somewhere in the city or nature. It doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't matter what it is. You can apply the Sacred Blueprint system or learn from it with any project, wherever it is. It doesn't have to be this eco-village nature, out in nature or whatever. So, woo! I don't have any water left. There's also a bunch of bonuses I'm giving out. I have a guide on, I've got a guide in there. I've got the Temple of Wisdom of Abundance. I forgot. Temple of Wisdom of Abundance activation that helps you really to deepen in taking the next step into your mastery, your next level mastery. There's a lot of ucky gucky stuff, women, parts of our shadow, things that we're hanging on to that we need to relinquish in order to take the next step. So the work that I do incorporates the shadow work, incorporates going deeper, especially in the group vessels and one-on-one. I don't get into that so much in my online course, but these next level programs, they do. It's just not possible for you to fully play that instrument, or for life to play your instrument, if you do not relinquish or let go of energies, blockages, stories. What was it? The static thought forms that are leached onto you or within you, whatever. If you don't let go of some of those, if you, if you want to be working in this way. So it's really an initiation, women. In this group and in the work that I do with women, we go through initiations. And you can be self-initiated as well. But we also need each other to support our initiations, our own initiations. Amazing. Hi. Özgür. Özgür mü? So nice to meet you. I don't know if I pronounced your name correctly. Please PM me. I would love you to join the master class, and send me a message. I'd be glad to connect with you. Hi. Merhaba. Süper. Tamam. Tamam, mesaj yolla bana, tamam mı? Hey. I love it. So it's 2 days, women. I'm just looking at the program here. The first day, there's 2 sessions in the first day, and there's a break in between. Starts October 10th. We're going to be getting deep into unleashing your intuition. And so that you can open up these portals, these channels to then start to connect with the spirit of the land. And that's what we start to do in the second session. Now, it's a short session, so you'll be getting the preliminary tips and tools from me, an entryway into how I work, and an entryway into another group program that I will be offering, a longer program. Session 2, we're going to get into co-creating with the land, with the spirit of the land, and you'll start to be able to receive information and messages from the spirit of the land about where to locate the garden, where to locate the house, where to locate the library. You'll start to get information from the spirit of the land for the optimal blueprint for your clients or for yourself if you're working on your own project for yourself. We're going to get into doing some preliminary ceremony work. I'm going to be teaching you, giving you tips on how to be in communion with the land so that you open the gates to the smooth and easeful project planning. I'm hesitating a bit because I don't want to get into teaching too much. You've just got to join the program to come to get more information. And then day 2, out of this tuning into your intuition and out of connecting with the co-creating with the spirit of the land, I guide you through on how to draw an intuitive concept map that grows out of that. Not bringing any external ideas, not looking at any images, right? Okay, I'm getting into the teaching again. It's like, maybe I should have just offered it today. No, it's the perfect time. October 10th and 11th. It's going to be beautiful. Then in the second day, we're going to get into how to draw this map, and also based on certain energetic zones, right, that we determine on the property of focus. So bring projects, bring a project to focus on for this masterclass. It will be even more beneficial if you can dig your hands into a specific site. And then session 2, we get into your success plan and how to use this concept map to develop your next steps. Schematic design, design development, and if you work with your clients in construction stages, I'll give you some tips on how to ensure that you stay on track with the original essence, the original visioning of the land. And I will also give you some tips on how to bring your clients into that picture, right? Because it's I surely, do not want you as someone who sees and who senses energy. I don't want you to be like walking in onto the land, tuning in, deciding on some things, and then leaving without telling your clients anything. Your clients need to be part of the process, and they need to give consent to the whole process. This is also another dangerous thing that happens in spiritual circles. People start to analyze or read other people's energy, or they'll read properties from a distance. That property is owned by someone else. Even though essentially on a deeper level, we shouldn't own property at all. But, it's important to respect other people. So I am the modality that I have developed, women, includes your clients in the process. It must, because your clients ultimately attracted that property. They are the ones with the deed. They're the ones who paid for it, right? And we need to respect that, right? So many architects do not respect the true dreams of their clients. So many times I've seen amazing ideas and visions get killed by an architect because the architect thought it wasn't looking cool enough for the magazines, the design. It's like and then the poor clients get convinced that it has to be some black dark box, whatever that means, right? It could be anything. It could look like a castle. It could be this or that. But the point is that we need to co-create with our clients, with the spirit of the land, and with our feminine intuition, and be observers of that magic. I'm so excited, women. I'm so excited to have you all in this group. We already have people signing up, and spots are limited. I'm not going to be taking on a huge group. So make sure you buy your ticket. Go to, it's a bit of a longer website, The Sacred Blueprint. Go to thesacredblueprint.com, and then you'll access on the top the Architect's Masterclass. You'll see it on the front page. You can also go to my link tree, of course, in my bio, and you can click on it. Get your ticket, women. I'm so excited. It's gonna be so much fun. It's really active. Time. Okay, I get to see you, women. It's not for everybody, but for the ones who are really hearing the call. You can feel it in your bones. You can feel it in your body. It's time, women. It's time. Okay, see you soon.